You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. So if you're a fan of the podcast, you're going to absolutely love the book. Slow Living, Cultivating a Life of Purpose in a Hustle-Driven World is now available wherever books are sold. Buy it for yourself, your children, your friends, and your neighbors. You can get all the juicy details at stephanieoday.com/slow living book. Trust me, this is hands down the best $20 you'll ever spend. Hi there, Slow Down Society. Steph here, and we are on episode 162 of the Slow Living Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about multitasking and, in general, deciding once and for all the answer to the question, which is multitasking bad? I have a lot of thoughts on that, and we will unpack them all today. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for being here. I've been on quite a few podcasts lately, and some of the listeners from other people's podcasts have followed me over to here, to this podcast. If you are new, let me know who you are and where you came from. You can email me, steph@stephanieoday.com. I'm a real person. I will write you back. You can find me on social media, Instagram @Stephanie O'Day, and Facebook. If you just Google my name, you'll find it. The actual URL is the Facebook Stephanie O'Day I think it's stephanieoday.author. But anyway, I'm there, but it really is me. And I'm happy to write to you. And thank you. Thank you for being here. The more the merrier. Absolutely thrilled. Thank you also for the people who have taken the time to leave a positive review on the podcast, and then also on the new book, Slow Living, Cultivating a Life of Purpose in a Hustle-Driven World. It's just fascinating and so exhilarating to know that there's real people out there reading and listening and enjoying. And I puffy heart love you all. I think you're amazing and lovely and wonderful and kind, and I greatly appreciate you. So, multitasking. Chances are, if you're listening to me right now, you're multitasking, and that is okay. It's okay. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You are not doing anything wrong. And the reason I really wanted to record this today is in the past week or so, I've been catching up with my one-on-one clients, and the theme of multitasking comes up. And often when they are talking to me, they do this sort of confession, I was multitasking here, so I don't really know. So first off, in general, please don't ever label anything as 100% right and 100% wrong. We live in and land here. And I've talked about it on the podcast. And if you go to the website, you can look up in the blog section and land. But it doesn't sell well to talk about nuance, to talk about shades of gray. Well, unless it's the book Shades of Gray. But that nothing is 100% this way or 100% that way. I happen to multitask a lot. I have many things happening in my brain all at one time. Every time I have to restart my computer, Google Chrome says, would you like to reopen the 72 tabs you have in your history? And my answer is yes, open them all. Bring it on. Bring it on. And I want to point out, and I'm going to get into that here, that there's a difference between multitasking and context switching. If you're listening to me, chances are you are not lying down in a dark room and the only thing you're doing right now is listening to me. No. Chances are maybe you're on a walk. Maybe you're driving. Maybe you're washing dishes. Maybe you're vacuuming. Maybe you're doing something else. We are humans doing lots of things all of the time. And if we decided, wait, stop, multitasking is bad. I read an article about that. Multitasking is bad. That means actually the world would grind to a halt. Think about when you're at the grocery store and you're checking out and the person is scanning your groceries. Don't you talk to them a little bit? Don't you make eye contact? Don't you smile? Don't you ask like what your weekend plans are? If that person completely and totally ignored you and only focused on scanning your groceries, didn't make eye contact, you would think that person is rude. And so, in general, humans, we're social beings. We enjoy interacting. And I can hear some of you right now, and you want to protest and say, yes, but Steph, I don't want to talk to people, which is why I like to go to self checkout. Okay, great. Okay. But you don't need 100% concentration in order for you to even do self checkout once you've done it a few times. Maybe the first time, maybe the first few times you have to truly focus on what you're doing and you can't multitask. But otherwise, you probably can continue to have the conversation with the person next to you that you're shopping with. Or if you're on the phone in your earbuds, you can have a conversation. You can also be thinking of different things. You are not 100% focused at all time. Same with when you're on a walk. I love walking Sheldon and I let him meander. We have no agenda. I am often either on the phone or listening to a podcast or an audio book. Even sometimes while I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook, it doesn't have all of my attention. And I find that my mind is wandering and I'm no longer thinking anymore about what the person is saying. And that is where multitasking gets a bad rap, is that you're not 100% invested all of the time. So let's say I was trying to learn something really specific because I was about to get tested on it. That is not what I should be doing then. I should not be walking Sheldon and picking up dog poo and making small talk with neighbors and also listening to some sort of text that I'm then later going to get tested on. That's not an appropriate use of listening time and walking time. But in general, most of us, we're just having fun. We're just out there being. And so if you miss here and there something in your audio tape or your podcast or even me, I don't care. It's fine. You do you. And do not beat yourself up about it. Context switching is when you are 100% invested in something and really thinking about something, and then someone or something distracts you, and all of a sudden you're no longer paying attention to what you're doing. This is a difficult thing if you are doing something that requires all of your attention. So for me, it's when I'm writing. And right now, when I'm podcasting and talking to you in this microphone, I am 100% here. I'm not thinking about anything else except for what I want to say. And I'm paying attention to where the microphone is positioned, where my mouth is. I've got a note card here and I'm trying not to rustle the paper because I am 100% in it to win it. And I'm paying attention to you and not the idea that, oh, there's 3 baskets of laundry stuff that you really need to go fold. And is this the best utilization of your time right now? Actually, I've already answered that question because the answer is yes, this is the best utilization of my time. But that's where the issue lies. If you're a neurosurgeon, yes, pay attention to exactly the thing you are doing right then and there. But washing dishes, driving back and forth to work on a route that you've done many times. Yes, you can do other things. You can listen in your car to things. You can think about other things and not like quote unquote crash the car because you know your foot is going to magically move from the gas pedal to the brake pedal. That's the type of multitasking that's okay to do. And I do not want you to beat yourself up about it. When we talk about slow living, sometimes people think that means that everything you do is in slow motion and you are 100% invested in all of the things that you're doing all of the time because you are intentionally doing them slow. I can see that argument and I can see why some people would think that. That doesn't necessarily jive for me. And it's not necessarily something that I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on the acronym for slow, which is to simply look only within. I want you to do what works for you and you only. The first few times I went through a yoga routine or was paying attention to yoga, I needed to fully watch the instructor and listen and model. But now I can do my own flow easily. And I can do my own flow while listening to an audio tape or while watching TV. Um, I'm no longer thinking about what comes next because I'm doing it in autopilot. So in that situation, you can think, oh, whoa, Steph really isn't into yoga or paying attention to yoga because she's just going through the motions. She's kind of phoning it in. Mm, no. If I do 20 minutes of yoga, even while watching an episode of Modern Family, that counts. It absolutely counts. Same with running on the treadmill and also watching the morning news. Okay, it's fine. You're doing things, two things at the same time. You're checking on the headlines and figuring out traffic and weather, and also getting a 20-minute run in. So please don't think that's bad. We will link to it in the show notes. Another reason I wanted to record today is I recently read an article, and it's come up here and there in different studies. And it's because I live in Silicon Valley, and right now, all of the remote tech workers, the companies are asking them to return to work. And there's a lot of backlash. And a lot of people aren't pleased that they have to go back to work. And the argument from their bosses, from their managers in the company, is that they're not fully working 100% of the time while they're quote unquote working during their workday because they're flipping the laundry or they're emptying the dishwasher or things like that. And then the workers' argument is, well, when you're at work, physically there, you're not necessarily working 100% of the time either. And so they don't want to be held hostage in their office. And so we'll link to that article. It was online. I can see both sides. What's interesting is when I worked for myself from home for those 12 years, because I was running my own business, I wasn't able to turn off my work brain very well. And at the time, it felt like I never stopped working. If I never stopped thinking of different things I should do or different recipes I should update or different ideas to write. And it was always on. And because of that, I ended up, one, burning out, and two, feeling behind because I wanted to be present when my kids were talking to me. I wanted to be present at different like family events and different outings with my friends. But instead, the back of my brain was kind of always thinking about work and different things that I should be doing. It actually was kind of a relief once I started going back to my day job, is because they pay me no matter what. And even if I'm not working, I'm on salary and I get paid. So think about that, regardless of whether or not you go to work or you work from home. I want you to be able to relax and calm down and think of different things. And if that means putting some parameters in place and some boundaries, you can do two things at once sometimes, like when it's on autopilot and you're driving or you're showering or you're going on a long walk. Those are our autopilot activities. But when your child is trying to talk to you or is explaining something to you, that's when you need to context switch and you need to pivot and you need to be 100% in it right then and right there because people, especially children, know when they don't have your full attention and they feel that and it makes them feel bad. And I don't think that's something that you want to be known for is, my mom never really listened to me. I don't think that's something that you would want your kids to have the takeaway from. Um, this happens to me sometimes on the soccer field. Uh, Paying attention to soccer or sports. So my daughter right now is a freshman in high school, and her sisters have had other sports, and now they're older, so they don't have team sports. I can't watch and focus on sports and then also talk on the sidelines. If I talk on the sidelines, I miss a goal or I miss a play. And um, other people can do both. I personally can't. So I have to decide, am I going to talk through this game or am I going to watch the game? And if I'm watching the game, it means I can't look at the person next to me and really, really listen to what they're having to say and then also watch the game. And that's hard for me because as someone who prides herself of being a very good deep listener, I'm an active listener with my coaching clients. I'm highly focused on absolutely everything they're saying at all times and I'm in it. And so I want to have conversations where I'm truly in it, or I would rather actually not talk and just focus on what's going on. So that's something to pay attention to. Can I have a full on active conversation and also go on a walk? Yes, because I know how to walk. I can walk easily, and I no longer have to think about one foot in front of the other. I am not good enough at understanding sports and that I can do two things. Um, I just wanted to throw that out and use that as an example. Dishes, I can wash dishes in my sleep. I can fold laundry in my sleep. I'm happy to have a conversation at all times. So when they are talking about working and remote working and whether or not people are in it to win it and whether or not they're paying attention, they're citing things like maybe on a work call when you're not on camera, you're also unloading the dishwasher or you're also folding laundry. Uh, in that situation, I don't really think it matters. I think you can do both things easily, and that is a way that multitasking can serve your needs. That you're doing two things at one time. If you, can you give a presentation and also unload the dishwasher? No. If you're the one speaking and presenting, you are 100% in it to win it. And I think people should recognize whether or not their brain is fast enough to context switch in a way where they're not dropping balls and making mistakes, or if they're the kind of person who really needs to truly slow everything down and focus just on one thing. And I think it is different for absolutely everybody. And again, using that acronym to simply look only within, asking yourself, what can you do and what can't you do? My mom likes to keep her hands busy while she's watching TV or sports or things like that. She likes to knit or crochet, or she'll put out scrapbooks or sort stamps. She's able to do those kind of things very easily at the same time. And so decide what works for you and what doesn't. If I'm watching a really complicated documentary or a movie or like a murder whodunit, I need to really be here and focused and paying attention to the dialogue. I can't be scrolling my phone. I can't be thinking of, oh, I wonder how old that actress is and looking it up and then also paying attention to the plot. I can't do it. Can I pay attention to the plot of The Bachelor and also be scrolling email? Yes. So just decide what is important and what is true for you, and don't kind of follow the advice and these kind of what you're doing is wrong headlines and ever feel guilty about it, because I just don't want you to do that. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts. I'm here. You can email me at any time. I think you're amazing and wonderful, and I will be back in your earbuds next week. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieodea.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.